Hi there, Massy here, author of about 4 books now. The latest, The Successful Mind, coach for about 12 years and trainer for about 3 decades now. Now I'm filming this in beautiful Bali, but hot Bali, so I'm melting a little bit here. So I'm super excited to be heading down under in March next year. I'm coming down to Melbourne to run my LIFE Masterclass again. We did it this year. I'm recording this in 2019. We did it earlier on this year and had an absolutely fantastic time. So here's the thing I've realized, having coached hundreds of people over the last 12 years. A lot of times it's actually someone sitting down in front of me, slowing right down, like making the intention to turn the attention inwards, to actually be looking at what's working, what's not working. And most particular, and this is the thing I pay particular attention to, is what's the internal dialogue? What are the stories that someone's telling themselves? What's the thoughts they've brought into? Because it's all of that internal stuff that creates a lot of the external experience, particularly when there's friction and frustration. So much of that is because of an internal dialogue. So the Life Masterclass is about getting people to stop and commit themselves for 2.5 days to project you. Stopping, slowing down, disconnecting from the known and familiar, and getting very present with what's going on internally. Now I take you through a number of specific techniques. I do a lot of guided meditations so that I take that attention inwards and I start working on the subconscious mind, understanding what's going on there and starting to plant new programs. So the whole 2.5 days is about taking this attention inwards. I want to work on your belief system and I want to change that, because I know when you change that, it changes things in a whole different way. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at what's the processing of emotions. When we process our emotions differently, it causes us to show up in different ways. We're either, if our emotions are contracted, we're less empowered. So a lot of the work we're going to do is opening up so the emotions flow a little bit more freely. We get into these, what I call elevated emotional states. And the next thing we work on is behavior. So I want to look at what are the things you're doing or not doing in your life that is creating this biggest challenge. So when we look at all of those parts and when we work on those parts over the course of 2.5 days, you start to shift. You start to have insights. You start to realize, what are these blind spots over here that have been holding me back? And that's what we're about. We're about moving through that, getting a greater understanding of what's holding us back, what's working and what's not working. So that's what we're about. So 2.5 days in Melbourne, March 6th to the 8th of March. We had a fantastic time last time. One of the other great things about coming to an event like this is being surrounded by the people who come to these events. You're going to be surrounded with like-minded people, and it's not only the conversations with me and the techniques that I take you through, but it's going to be the conversations that you have with these other people in this space that might give you that aha moment where you realize, if only I'd known. Well, now you do know and you can make different choices. So I'd love to see you there in Melbourne, 6th to 8th of March. There's some details up or below where you can find out the specific information. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in Melbourne. If you've got any questions, again, just leave your questions down below and I'll get back to you. Have a fantastic day. Melting here in beautiful Bali. There's a slight breeze blowing. Have a fantastic day. See you soon.